Welcome everyone to week 3. In this video, I'm going to provide an overview and explanation of our responsibilities for our third week together in the semester. So let's go ahead and take a look at our weekly overview. Remember, we want to get in the habit of checking the weekly overview that comes at the start of each module at the start of each week. Okay, so make sure that you do this, you get in the habit of checking this overview. So check it at the start of the week and then return to it throughout the week to make sure that you are accomplishing all your responsibilities by the weekly Sunday deadlines. So let's go ahead and take a look here. So week 3 overview. All right, so what we're going to accomplish this week, I want us all to go back to the 2 discussion posts from week 2 to start with. So there was the object text connection activity. You all created a post for that dealing with one of the 2 readings that we read from week 2, either orienting on finding your feet or beginning on unlearning. So of course you read both of those sections, but in the object text connection activity, you are only using one of those readings to complete that activity. And then in the institutional autobiography discussion post, that was one of the practice sessions that came at the end of On Unlearning. And as I mentioned in the overview video from week 2, this practice session is step 1 of Major Essay Project 1. So this, in a way, is a kind of a brainstorming activity, a way to delve into the ideas and topics that we wish to explore in Major Essay Project 1 that we are going to expand into a full draft this week. Okay, so what you'll want to do, go back to those 2 discussion posts from last week, and I want you all to complete the response requirement for those 2 discussion boards. So if you didn't respond to some of your colleagues in the object text connection activity discussion board and or in the institutional autobiography, the practice session discussion board, you're going to want to go back and make sure that you respond to a few of your colleagues in each of those discussion boards in week 2. So you want to go back. That's step 1. So then the next thing that we'll accomplish in this week is we want to carefully read and annotate the short essay in Habits of the Creative Mind called On Confronting the Unknown. And that can be found on pages 37 through 42. So we want to go back to in the module for week 3, there's a page for On Confronting the Unknown that contains a couple of reading response questions that are designed to help you target your focus from the reading. So you're not going to submit those reading response questions to me, but it's a really smart idea to respond to them in as much detail as you can, because that's going to help you with our second major essay project coming in a few weeks. So we want to make sure that we're staying on top of that and we're annotating as we go. Remember, annotating is an act of investing in your future, because when you go back to the reading to refresh your memory, you don't need to read the whole thing from start to finish. All you need to do is look at your annotations and reread key selections from the reading to kind of refresh your memory. So it's an act of investing in your future. Set yourself up for success. Next items that we will complete, you'll want to read through the guidelines for Major Essay Project number 1, and there's an explanation video that accompanies that. So you'll want to go ahead and watch that explanation video so you can hear me go through and explain the different guidelines. And then we'll do the same for the rubric for Major Essay Project number 1. So the rubric is what I will use to assess your polished draft of Major Essay Project number 1. So remember, your polished draft is what directly counts toward your final grade. And so this rubric gives you all of the criteria that I will use to assess that polished draft. So it's all there. You should be able to see what you're aiming for. And so we want to build that into our essays so that when we submit the polished draft, we've hopefully met or exceeded those minimum standards that are outlined in the rubric. And then there is the submission slot for our first draft of major essay project number 1, which needs to be a minimum of 3 full pages. So a minimum just means a minimum. It doesn't mean maximum, okay? So you can write more than 3 full pages, but you can't write fewer than 3 full pages. And those pages are Times New Roman font, 12 point Times New Roman font, double spaced, 1-inch margins on all 4 sides. So that's what counts as a full page. And then there is a feedback letter for that first draft. And that feedback letter is a way for me to get a heads up on what you are trying to accomplish in your draft, what you think you did really well, and what you think you need more work on. And I can hopefully target my feedback to address those concerns. And then you'll use that feedback to revise that first draft to create your polished draft, which will be submitted in week 5. So to complete these activities and these responsibilities successfully, it's really important that you spread the work out over the whole week, okay? I don't recommend saving it all till Sunday, especially if you're just going to begin everything on Sunday. It's not a smart strategy, and you're probably going to find, if you haven't already, that strategy is just not going to cut it in our class, because there's just a lot of things that require time and attention that we need to work on throughout the week. So what I recommend that you do is spread the work out and kind of map your week out in your calendar. So go ahead and budget your time, set aside certain blocks of time throughout your week where you're going to accomplish these different activities. Don't save it all for a single day. Spend a little bit of time one day, pick it back up the next day or maybe the day after that, put in a little bit more work on it, come back the following day, continue to work on it, and go in that approach, or take that approach when you're working on it. Good ideas take time and attention to develop, okay? So it's really important that you're actually spending that time and you're giving those ideas that attention. So start working on this at the start of the week so that it's in your mind and you're kind of thinking about these things. So when you come back to it a day or two later, you're going to have better ideas to continue to contribute to that, and then say on and on throughout the week. It's just a much smarter strategy. Trust me on this one. Just my advice to you. Take it or leave it, but I really strongly suggest that you take it. Set yourself up for success. As I mentioned a few times already this semester, you can't expect success to arise if you're not creating the conditions in order for success to arise. It's just not likely to occur if you haven't done that, if you haven't put in that work to create those conditions. All right, so those of you who may have fallen behind with the readings from week 2, even week 1, it's really important that you go back to those readings and you go back to those activities from the previous week. So if there's still something that you need to complete from week 1, go back and complete it, okay? And if there's something that you still need to complete from week 2, go back and complete it. Because our class doesn't use points, I can't take points away from you if you submit something late, right? If you need more time to work on something, I want you to be able to take that extra time to do that, because that's really how learning occurs, especially with a class like writing. However, it's really important that we're not falling too far behind, okay? So if you need a little extra time to work on something, send me a message, let me know. If you have questions, obviously send me a message and let me know. I'm happy to respond to those questions. But yeah, it's really important that we go back, we don't skip over anything, and that we treat all of these responsibilities as necessary steps in this whole process. I've designed our course with these specific readings and activities in a specific order because they all build on one another. And if we're neglecting to do certain things, then that's going to hinder our abilities to produce work that is accurately reflective of our abilities, right? All right, y'all. Well, if you have any questions, as I mentioned, just let me know. Send me a message using the messaging inbox feature in Canvas, or you can send me an email. But make sure that you go ahead and complete these responsibilities in timely fashion for this week. All right, y'all, take care.